First of all, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Heavenly Father and His Son, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders of GMS that taught me this truth through the Spirit of YAHAWASHI. And double honors to the elders, like I said, that taught us this truth through the Spirit of YAHAWASHI, and Brakathon, and to you brothers out there that's teaching this truth through the Spirit of YAHAWASHI, you know, in all humbleness, sincerity of spirit and mind. Much love to you brothers, and keep pushing this truth, man. We almost up out of here. All right, I'm the brother Anapayash with the GMS North Carolina camp. Out here on this Labor Day weekend, you know, sitting at the park chilling on this beautiful Sunday day. All right, we're finna go into the subject of Labor Day and what does it mean for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, what is Labor Day? In the U.S., Labor Day, the first Monday in September, is a creation of the labor movement and is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of American workers. It constitutes a yearly national tribute to the contributions workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being of their country. Okay, so that's what Labor Day means. Now, what does Labor Day really mean for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? All right, it says Labor Day is viewed as the last long weekend to enjoy the company of friends before the end of summer. Just like many other things that we take for granted now, Labor Day began as a holiday for American workers to gain relief from the harsh working conditions they lived under during the middle of the Industrial Revolution. As I reflect on Labor Day and the importance of black labor in building this country, two things come to mind. First, from a historical perspective, we are among one of the first generations of blacks that can do what they love and still make a living doing so. But that's really not true. Second, people make up the labor. We have always been less valued than those individuals who are owners. Now that's true. We'll never be equal to this white man. He always looked down on us like we ain't nothing, we trash, we garbage, you know what I'm saying? We less than a pile of dung, which is shit. You know what I'm saying? It says slavery can be traced back many thousands of years. Dr. David P. Forsyth states in one of his works that at the beginning of the 19th century, an estimated 3/4 of all people alive, meaning 3/4 of all people alive, were trapped in bondage against their will, either in some form of slavery or serfdom. This is a startling number. One of the biggest beneficiaries of this free labor was who? America. It says, in a capitalist society, a few things need to occur to create the opportunity to generate profits. Now, what is a capitalist society? A capitalist society is the benefit of growing economically and financially off the blood, sweat, and tears of another race, which mainly is the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because why? That's what they done to us. They benefit off the blood, sweat, and tears of the backs of the hard labor and inhumane conditions of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans here in America. Also, the white Irish, you know what I'm saying, they benefited off the backs of them because some of the Irish are actually Israelites. They was known as the white niggas of Europe. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's how America benefited. That's why a lot of white people want to say, well, hey, white people were slaves too here in America. Well, no, that's not true. Because, yeah, they may look white, but still, those are also Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So-called Negroes. They just had white skin. Why? Because, let's say I have a baby by a white lady. My son come out mixed or light-skinned, as they call it. Guess what? He keeps sleeping with white women, and his son keeps sleeping with white women. Of course, that generation keep going down. The colors is going to become less darker. It's going to become lighter and lighter and lighter till it becomes pale. But guess what? It's that child, that seed is still a so-called Negro, even though he look white. He may have blonde hair and blue eyes, but guess what? He's still gonna be a Negro. Why? Because he come from my seed. It says there needs to be a demand for what you are selling. Infrastructure, resources to produce the product, and labor to work the resources. Now, what was that labor to work the resources? Slaves. It says in the free market, the price of labor is determined by competition between workers who gradually raise the price of their services until it hits its natural state or market value, just like slaves. Furthermore, workers voluntarily choose to work for certain wages under difficult conditions. If they feel that the extra money outweighs the circumstances endured while laboring. Through slavery, an entire race of people was systematically denied these abilities as wages for slaves were artificially kept at zero, and slaves could not choose whether they wanted to work, and their owners and thus the country benefited tremendously economically without the wealth trickling down to the African Americans who labored to physically create it. Meaning no matter how hard we work, we still didn't benefit from none of this that the white man made off of our backs. We still is poor slaves, poor Negro slaves. You know what I'm saying? They have us out here working from sun up to sundown and making like a quarter a week, 1 quarter a week. Now who gonna prosper off of that? You know what I'm saying? Only the white man did, off of our labor. Okay? It says, through slavery, an entire race of people was systematically denied these abilities as wages for slaves were artificially kept at zero, and slaves could not choose whether they wanted to work, and their owners and thus the country benefited tremendously economically. Without that wealth trickling down to the African Americans who labored to physically create it. Of course, the results of this can still be felt today. Just like, hey, you got brothers in this truth doing jobs that they know they're being underpaid for. So guess what? We still in slavery today. All right? It said, of course, the results of this can still be felt today. For centuries, blacks were paid below market value. That's still going on right now in 2013, which prevented them from investing in the resources needed for owning a piece of the pie. Meaning, even in the stock market, man, the average so-called African American, the Negro, Latino, Native American, can't even invest into the stock market. Why? Because they don't make that much money, man. They may make, at the most, they may make $1,000 a month. You can't invest into the stock market with only making $1,000 a month. Why? Because you got to pay rent, lights, water, gas, plus gas for your vehicle, plus food for your home, clothes, shoes, all that stuff. So how can you invest in the stock market? You ain't got the money to do it. You have to work overtime to try and save money to get into the stock market, and you still won't be able to do it. Right now, it's so bad that really the average Negro, Latino, Native American can't even afford to file bankruptcy. You got to have a certain amount of money to even file bankruptcy. The cheapest you can file at bankruptcy is like maybe $600 to $1,200. Who has that just laying around the house? Nobody. All right, it says whites were able to reinvest their profits for many generations, whether it be in property, human capital, slaves, or technology. Just like the Rothschilds. How you think they got so rich? They kept the wealth within the family. Blacks much more recently gained this luxury, yet the fact that whites had a 300-year head start, talking about the Rothschilds, and creating generational wealth is often ignored when discussing economic inequalities in this country today. Talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, you know what I'm saying? It said Labor Day certainly has a different meaning for African Americans in this context. One day off can never compensate for the hundreds of years of unpaid work and the chance forever lost to pass on the value of labor for generations. It says Reconstruction and the Industrial Revolution. There was a glimmer of hope of equality for African Americans during the years immediately following the Civil War called the Reconstruction.